And we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Or, well, it's evening from my side. Welcome to Async API. So, today we have a very, very interesting topic. We are going to be discussing community health in open source. So, as an open source community and open source projects, I know for me personally, community health is important. So, I'm not an expert in this topic, so we have a very wonderful guest joining me today, Mary Bless, from Shitcode Africa. She'll be helping me delve into this topic. Why is it important for community health? Why community health is important, especially for open source projects. So I'll be bringing her on stage, and let's get right into it. Hello, Mary Bless.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm nervous, but I'm good.
Don't be nervous. You're gonna make me nervous now.
Okay.
Anyway, how are you doing? How's everything going so far? How is your days?
Okay. Everything is going well, pretty well. Today was a little slow. But,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's going pretty well.
I'm great. So my day was good as
Mm-hmm.
well, except it's raining. I don't like winter, but I'm a winter baby. I don't like winter, but it is what it is.
Right. Right.
It is what
I
it
love
is.
winter too. I love winter.
I don't like winter. I don't like winter,
I do.
honestly speaking.
I mean, a lot of benefits.
Winter is the least. Winter is the least.
Mm.
Actually, winter is good
Mm-hmm.
because you don't get like to go outside. It's not hot, but then it
Mm.
makes me so lazy that
Oh.
I only want to hibernate the whole day. So those are the disadvantages of winter for me.
Oh.
Like I really don't want to do anything like in winter. But anyway, it
Understandable.
is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me
My
today
pleasure.
and discussing the topic today, community health in open
Mm-hmm.
source. And I know you are the expert. I'm not. I'm here actually to learn from you as well. So before we jump right into it,
Okay.
do you mind giving us a introduction about yourself, what you do? I know you, but they don't know you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a short
I was really
introduction.
going to like skip that part. I thought you probably have done it when I was like at the backstage and you were like front there. Okay.
Nah, nah.
Now you're giving me work, but yeah, that's fine. What do
Mhm,
I say? I mean, here it's my blessing, Okuli, and I'm a
mhm,
community I'm a community architect and an open source advocate. I I'm currently a community associate at She Code Africa, a community, an organization set out to like help and amplify the voices of African women. And I volunteer my time in Chaos. Chaos is an open source project
mhm,
to contribute to open
mhm.
source because again I love open source and I think I should use this moment to say a big shout out to Precious. She introduced me to
Mhm,
chaos and it's been awesome.
mhm,
So that's me and I am a big advocate for DI. I mean it's expected really and I'm a lover of cats. Yeah,
mhm.
that's my favorite pet. So that's all about me really. Nothing else.
Thank you so much. That is one wonderful introduction. I mean, I love your work. What you're doing for the community, especially for the open source community in general. You are doing amazing work, and I mean, we're rating for you.
Thank
I
you.
mean, I'm proud of you. Honestly, I love seeing women like doing amazing things in the open
Me
source
too.
space. So I'm really proud and I'm really grateful, like you said, yes, when I asked you to say, hey, do you want to hop in and join me, like, especially in this
Mm.
topic? So, without further ado,
Mm-hmm.
let's dive into the topic. So, how would you define community health, like in context, especially for open source projects?
Oh yeah. So remember when I said I volunteer my time in Chaos? So I think most of my talk today would be around what we do at Chaos. Because Chaos is the acronym
Mm-hmm.
for Community Health Open Source Software. And what we pretty
Mm-hmm.
much do is like we create metrics that help open source communities stay healthy. Yeah. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because of my experience in Chaos, so that's why I was able to even say, hey, yes, I will be doing this, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I would say community health in open source is like it involves creating of like beyond I mean, like the general meaning that is the general well-being of open source communities, but beyond this as
Mm-hmm.
well, is also creating a contributing guide for contributors to look up to, adopting code of conduct,
Mm-hmm.
establishing an open source governance, some sort of structure, right, that allows members to like
Mm-hmm.
actively participate in that particular project, right, that particular open source project, right, and it's just like having a healthy community or company rather that's free from bias, free from harassment, free from discrimination and so on. So that's like how it is in open source, having a healthy open source
Mm-hmm.
community. So yeah.
Okay, so I know a lot of open source communities, and this leads me to the next question. What are some key
Hmm.
indicators of a healthy community in open source?
Okay. There are actually a lot so far with my observations in chaos again. There are a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the few I'm going to list is like transparency in governance and transparency in key
Mm-hmm.
decision makings. Um,
Mm-hmm.
code of conduct I had mentioned before. Readable codes,
Mm-hmm.
quality codes, support, mentorship, collaboration, active collaboration, and I think
Mm-hmm.
more than all of this, or most importantly, diversity and inclusivity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this also leads, like, I mean, so many communities struggle with diversity and inclusivity. So, which also leads me to the next question, actually. So, what are some of the common challenges like open source communities face, and what do you think can help to tackle these challenges as well?
Hmm. Um, you know, I was so I think it depends on one's experience really. Okay, first of all, I would say that I don't even a thing of pride, but chaos is like the my first open source project and like the only place I am currently, because
Mm-hmm.
it's so much fun there and I really love
Mm-hmm.
it there in chaos. So but I think so far what I have noticed, some of the challenges, faced by open source communities would be sometimes project burnouts.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the question of how to get started. How would people get
Mm-hmm.
started in this project? If I'm stuck, there's also the question of who do I speak to, and
Mm-hmm.
for project burnout, I think the so I had read this article by what's his name again, John O. Bacon, and
Mm-hmm.
it talks about a guide of healthy living, something or living a healthier rather. I can't recall how the title goes now, but he was pretty much outlining like a lot of things that open source contributors should or communities should look out for in making their community a more healthier place for people to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Then as regards how to get started, I think one thing open source communities can do. I mean, this is just few out of so many other challenges, right? But again,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I think it's dependent on one's experience, right? You could
Mm-hmm.
speak to someone else and be like, so what has been your challenges in the contribution to open source? And they would have like tons of things to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but this just like my observation, and I'm going to speak on this. And so again, back to the question of how to get started. I think one thing open source communities can do is to set like a really really clear getting started guideline, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, awesome project, right? So but how do people start contributing? How do they start making meaningful contributions to this project, right? How do they go from just exploring the community to actually contributing, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
again, that's what they want to do, because it gives fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how you want to put it, right? So yeah, so I think having a clear getting started guideline for new contributors will actually go a very long way. And I mean, emphasis on clear, right, and not just having a lot of like bogus words, right, and plenty grammar, right. Let it be very
Mm-hmm.
simple. And clear, right? Then for who to speak to, also in that guide, when people have questions, who do they reach out to? You want to clearly let them know that, who reach out to XYZ in the community Slack or
Mm-hmm.
community forum, or you can send an email to this at whatever. Do you get?
Mm-hmm.
So that people would know that, so when they are stuck, they know how or who would help them, or who can help them get out of that challenge or that problem they are facing, right? And not just sticking to themselves, or
Mm-hmm.
and saying, oh, how do I resolve this? They've picked up an issue, but they have challenges. So who is best in the community that would walk them through that particular challenge? So clearly, stating these things out would really, really, really help solving some of these challenges open source communities face.
Okay. All right. So for me, I've been like to many open source communities until I
Hmm.
landed and I felt comfortable. The community is open, supportive. I
Hmm.
mean, but then there comes to a point. I've seen other source communities where you go to the community, there's nobody to help you. People are not really like
Hmm.
engaging, and they are not really like to help beginners, or how do I put it? They don't have like empathy like to guide beginners. Then this leads like to
Hmm.
people not like venturing into open source because okay they don't feel comfortable, there's no one to help them. So which also leads
Hmm.
me to another question. So how do we foster the culture of inclusivity and diversity in open source communities so that when people get into a
Hmm.
project, into an open source project, they stay, they feel comfortable, they learn, they grow, not to just come and just say okay, people are not willing to help us here, let me move on to the next project. So how do we foster that inclusivity and diversity?
That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. And to speak on that, I think, okay, before I answer your question, just to
Mm-hmm.
also talk more on what you mentioned, I think another thing open source maybe maintainers or managers could do is for people that they feel could be a helping hand to newbies. One other thing they could also highlight is, say, their time, their availability, right? Because if I am stuck and I see, oh, I need to reach out to Precious, for instance, to help me resolve this issue in the bots, right? Maybe we are developing this bot in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it tells me that Precious will be available from this time to this time.
Mm-hmm.
Then I should know at what point to actually reach out to Precious, right? So I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel lonely on my own, or jump into the conclusion saying that the people in the community are not welcoming, or they are not helping me out to solve the
Mm-hmm.
problems that I have, right? So that on the side. So to now answer your question on how to foster a culture of inclusivity and diversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, if you ask me, I would say start with the governing board. Really, I
Mm-hmm.
think it all starts from the top.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing. One of my mentor in the community management space usually says around. Oh, I've forgotten that, but it has to do with having to make changes from the top to the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was why I said, start from the governing board, because that's like where most of the key decisions is being met. Like that's the peak. When it gets there, it's like it's what's the word now? It's like that's like the final say. I'm not sure that's
Mm-hmm.
like the right word, but yeah, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say now. But yeah, start with the governing board, because open source contributors would often like to know that someone in the governing board represents their interests, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if there are 10 people in the governing board, how diverse they are, how
Mm-hmm.
diverse are they really? Do we
Mm-hmm.
just have only the black folks or only the white folks, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, which wouldn't make sense. If I see only the white folks as a black person in the governing board, then
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'll feel I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but yeah, there's this feeling.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm. There's this feeling it gives. Okay, I'll give a typical example. When I heard about chaos, and I figured that someone like Roots is at the level of decision making, like do you get?
Mm-hmm.
I There was this relaxation I felt, you know, um
Mm-hmm.
I know that when I have questions, I could go to her. When something is troubling
Mm-hmm.
me, I could go to her and say, "Oh, I saw this. I saw this. Would you mind explaining what this means? How does this affect me? Maybe as a black person in the community, right? And things like
Mm-hmm.
that, right? So again, start from the governing board, really, because that's like where the changes comes, or that's like where it matters the most, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing would be for contributing, for instance, in say on GitHub, um, issue label inclusivity, and this is like one of the things we also like, one of the metrics we track in chaos. Again, I said I would be saying most of the things here as regards to my observations or my work at chaos, right? So I mean, beyond the general issue labels, like you go to GitHub, you see bug. We know, yeah, there's a bug on this to be fixed, right? Then you pick it up, or it says documentation, meaning that you need to they need a documentation for this particular thing. But also having things like maybe mental availability on a particular issue,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that you could have access to a mentor, right, in this particular issue if you need help on it. Things like the good first issues, so that people totally new to open source can also see issues like this and know that, oh, they can also make contributions even though they are totally new to the project, right? Also
Mm-hmm.
skills labels. Some people, I don't know how it was. I'm not really much of a developer, but I'm thinking maybe the way it works is you have to like download the project into your machine to be able
Mm-hmm.
to see what language is being coding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a way you can view it on GitHub, but I think that process is like really really long. If we could have like a skill label that says, oh, this particular issue is like HTML, it's CSS, it's JavaScript, it's Python, I think I could easily just know that. Okay, I mean, if I don't have a Python skill, I should not even go close, right? I should not even make an attempt, so I don't it just waste my time, right? So things
Mm-hmm.
like this could also foster a culture of inclusivity and diversity in an open source
Mm-hmm.
project.
Okay, so I'm gonna like go back a bit. So like representation, right? It's also important, like to
Mm,
foster diversity. Like you said, even if it was me, if I go to an open source project and see there's no women representation, all the
mm,
maintainers
I
and
like.
all the TSL members are men and
Mm,
there's no women there.
mm,
I mean, this is quite common actually for many projects that I've
true.
seen. Like, it's quite a number. You won't see any female maintainers there. So this goes like to my this gives me a question right now. Like, how do we empower? Okay, after fostering, how do we empower these people, like contributors, like to also take up these leadership roles, like maintainer, to become a maintainer, so that we can foster that diversity, so
Yeah.
when people who are new to open source can come in
Mm,
and stay and learn, not just to come and see, oh, all the maintainers are men, oh, all the maintainers are women, oh, it's only
mhm,
Mary Bless and Tuli, there is no representation.
mhm.
So how do we like balance it out? How do you balance the representation so that like we foster that culture of representation and diversity also.
That's a good point. I think personally, I'm also trying to like find my way around. I am getting up to the leadership roles like in open source projects,
Mm-hmm.
but I strongly believe that is a two-way thing. Either from
Mm-hmm.
the both from the community and from the individual, the contributor as an
Mm-hmm.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
so the community, what's the word now? The community creates that room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, for opportunity, that room for opportunity for newbies to move from just being contributors to leadership roles in the community. But even you as an individual, you should also be there, like be intentional. I think that's the word, really. Be intentional and be committed to actually doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't just nobody just gets to move you from to a leadership role and they are not seeing you showing up, they're not seeing you doing the actual work, right? um so you
Mm-hmm.
have to be intentional with your growth within the
Mm-hmm.
community, right? And the open source
Mm-hmm.
community itself also have the role to play to actually create that room for you, because if there's a meeting, for instance, and you're always being shut up when you want to like ask questions, or nobody's allowing you say something, that could actually do a lot of things to the individual. The person can
Mm-hmm.
become might not even attend meetings anymore to start with, will not even speak if the person eventually do attend. The
Mm-hmm.
person would see his or her idea as being stupid and not making sense, because they're always shutting he or she up whenever they want to speak up. So the open source community has that role to play, to give them the room, like to speak up, to take up roles, little roles, and so they weigh their capabilities, right? And you as an individual, you don't just stay just as a contributor.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep on improving yourself, keep on showing up, keep on showing that determination and being intentional that you really want to go, you really want to like take up the leadership role. And if that community is the one that allows for what's it called, inclusivity, they would definitely give you that chance. So that's what I have to
Mm-hmm.
say for regarding that.
Okay. So earlier on you did touch on code of conduct,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So yeah. So I would like to ask, what role does community guidelines and code of conduct play, especially when it comes to maintaining
Mm.
or community health?
Yeah, yeah, I did touch on code of conduct. Yeah, when we talked about key indicators, if I remember clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so first of all, code of conduct is like is describes the rules of good behaviors, right, between an OS contributors, and also like the avenues available, when anyone kind of like violates, any expected good behaviors, right?
Mm-hmm.
um so for the role it plays, right, in maintaining community health, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
I think as personally as a contributor, I want to know that the open source managers, right, they kind of like they have me in mind when you
Mm-hmm.
know um when I face any absurd behavior, or any form of harassment from community members. Imagine what's the word? Imagine, say, someone just maybe on the community Slack, um or maybe takes my email address, for instance, to send me some unwanted message, right, or email. So who do I talk to, for instance, as regarding such behavior? And I know clearly that it was from that community. So I feel like contributors
Mm-hmm.
on their own wants to like know that open source maintainers and managers, have them in mind, like, because this code of conduct, right, sends the signal that these maintainers are willing to like respond to incidents, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
also like helps people all around, people from all backgrounds, ethnicity, feel included and also comfortable being a member and a part of that community, right? And most importantly, when I see a code of conduct and I read through it, I understand what kind of behaviors to play or to display in the community, and the ones not to display in the community, right? And when I see people showing off such behaviors as well, it kind of like empowers me to be able to report those incidents, right, to the appropriate
Mm-hmm.
body, right? So this is the major role that it plays to maintaining a community, a healthy community, right? As regards
Mm-hmm.
open source, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I mean, like, really, it's true. Like, code of conduct is very important. Like, to
Very
have this
key.
also, like, a healthy community needs to have a healthy code of conduct.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you will find one or two individuals misbehaving. So having those guidelines and keeping them in track shows
Yes,
that really you have like the contributors
interest in mind.
and the
Mm-hmm.
entrance in mind.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay. So now let's discuss strategies, right? So, what
Hmm.
are some effective strategies that open source communities can use, like to recruit and also retain contributors in open source projects? So it's not only about getting contributors to come in. I mean, that is easy. But what are some of the strategies that we can put in place, like, okay, to let them stay, not just to contribute after 1 2 months they are gone,
Hmm.
but in fact we can let them grow as well. So, what are some of strategies that you can share with us?
Okay, in all sincerity, this is like hard.
Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I did not. I okay. Hmm. So recruiting, for recruiting like contributors to an OS project. So far, I think that like there might be so many ways to like do this through advocacy, on social media, even word of mouth, right? That's like one
Mhm.
way you could recruit OS contributors, to come into your project, and listening on GitHub as well. Mhm.
Mhm.
So people could also easily find it up there. I mean, advocacy also through, maybe say, going to speak at events. You could talk about your OS projects
Mhm.
there. um, but for retaining, for retaining, I think, first of all, okay, a disclaimer: I do not have like an in-depth answer to this particular question, but for retaining,
Mhm.
okay, let me bring in my expertise as a community manager now. Maybe that could also like
Yes.
maybe that could
Mhm.
also like help in a way. So but for retaining, I think first of all, making the community like relaxing,
Mhm.
making it, so that new contributors could feel welcomed into this community, feel relaxed. I mean, you didn't ask why I've been in chaos and only in chaos. I mean, the people who contributed like so many other
Mhm.
projects, because I felt this sense of belonging, right? Exactly, that's the word I've been looking
Mhm.
for. The sense of belonging. Um,
Mhm.
it's not just an open source community. It's not just where everybody else comes in. I think the open source community maintainers should, just go beyond just, again, not just bringing in people, but um, fostering or creating like a pipeline to like retain those people, which includes like making it really really
Mhm.
relaxing, and the community shouldn't be a toxic environment at all. And
Mhm.
also, creating rooms for opportunities, like I said, because if people are
Mhm.
in a community and they don't feel like they are making progress even in their personal lives,
Mhm.
they might not like they might not see that project or that community as a way of it contributing to their general growth, and at some point they can
Mhm.
leave, right? Because I mean, why am I
Mhm.
there if I'm not growing in any sort of way, right? So
Mhm.
I feel like this is like one way, a relaxing community, and also room for opportunities for everybody. Let everyone, be heard, let them be seen, right? If they do a work or contribute to something, appreciate them, show them appreciation. And we're actually doing all of these and more in chaos. Recently, we started
Mm-hmm.
spotlighting awesome contributors in the community, right? Which Anita has been a part of this spotlight. Kingsley has been a part of this spotlight, and more to come. And when I first saw it, I was so amazed. Like I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. The initiative was so beautiful because what one thing
Mm-hmm.
he would really do for these individuals is that seeing that the work they do is being recognized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It will make them want to even do more, right?
Yeah.
Um, I know at some point in people's life they get really busy and a lot of things to do, and they might want to like keep some things away, like stop contributing to some open source project they are a part of. But I mean, why they could afford it? I mean, let them feel welcome, let them feel appreciated,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being a
Mm-hmm.
part of that community, and also the onboarding process. I'm a sucker for seamless onboarding process. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when you get into a community and the onboarding process is like so is it rigid, is that the word, but it's just not enticing at all. I bounce off immediately, and I can
Mm-hmm.
now imagine other people that not even me, that are people that they don't they don't have a lot of tolerance, right? So once they see any, they're off. They don't want to even they don't want to even start.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So
They don't have the patience like to say,
thank
okay,
you.
we are here to help you, but they are easily put off. Yeah.
Exactly. They're easily put off, right? So I think personally, these are like the things that open source communities can do to even retain contributors in their project. Again, this is not like an in-depth answer, but I really hope and wish I was able to like help answer.
I'm sorry. I think it's my fault for always asking difficult questions. But anyway, just to add, like to what you said, I mean,
Mm,
it's very important. Like, yes, recruiting is quite easy, but retaining is another part
mm,
of the story because it's easy
true.
to recruit contributors to come, but retaining
Mm-hmm,
is another story. Because for us,
mm,
for me, for example,
mm-hmm,
like at Async API, I felt at home, and honestly, I'm someone who gets bored very quickly, very easily. But because there was a lot of issues, there were a lot of
mm,
challenges that were there that were helping me grow, like in my skill set, not only just in my skills, my interpersonal
mm,
skills. When we were hosting live streams,
mm.
I get to talk, I get like to engage with people.
Yeah,
Those are some of the soft skills that I'm developing.
yeah.
And also one thing that I love is the other initiative that we put together, the bounty program. We are not only
Oh,
saying come and contribute for free, but we're
awesome.
also saying we appreciate your work.
Awesome.
Here is a little token. Yeah, here is a little token and say we see you, we appreciate your contribution. We are here to say thank you. So
Mhm,
not only are we like taking advantage of free contribution, like
mhm.
come contribute for free, but also have the opportunity to earn. I mean, we love money. I love money. So I mean, you should like at least like appreciate, and this is one of my favorite initiative that at least we get like to give back to the contributors and say, hey, we
Mm,
appreciate you.
mhm,
You are contributing your time, your
mhm,
experience, your expertise. It's not only what we are getting from you, but you
mm,
also from what you're gaining from us. So a little thank you, like okay, here is a few coins for your pocket for your contribution. It goes a long way.
mm,
So these are some of like the initiatives that, for instance, that people can put in place to say, okay, not only are we recruiting contributors, but also to retain them and to make sure that they grow, and also like to take leadership roles, like you've said, like to become maintainers for a particular project as well. So it's very important to also foster that in an open source community. I mean, a healthy community needs to have see individuals grow. I mean, you wouldn't want to say like after 1 year of contributing, you are still at the same position as a contributor.
mm,
We need to see that okay, not only are you contributing, but you are also growing.
mm.
So yeah, those are my
Yeah.
opinions as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so about the bounty, I have actually heard of bounties before. I do not really have
Hmm.
like a good context of how it works, but I know like it's just like a way to like appreciate contributors. I mean, I did not mention that because um
Hmm.
um 90% of people or maybe less thinks that or knows that open source is like more like a voluntary work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no a lot of capital currency expected in it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's fine, really. It's okay. I mean, if you can afford it, please, by all means, appreciate them honestly,
Yeah.
right? But if not, those little, well done, we see what you are doing, kudos, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a long way. If possible, you could also do things like badges, award them badges, right? People want to
Mm-hmm.
showcase how they are making an impact in a community on
In a
socials,
community. Mm-hmm.
right? So badges could be a very good way, right? So they can put it up on their LinkedIn profile, or even showcase it to the world that, oh, I'm a part of this thing and this is what I have gotten because I was,
Mm-hmm.
an active contributor to this project. So those little things, even though you can do the monetary aspect of it, it
Mm-hmm.
also matters and is key. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you are right. I
Mm.
mean, everybody wants to be appreciated for the work they are doing. I mean, in as much as we are volunteering your time, your energy, I mean, appreciating to say, hey, we have Mary Place, she has contributed to ABCD, and being publicly recognized goes a long way. I mean, in feeling that, okay, I'm really making an impact. I mean, sometimes most people struggle with imposter syndrome. I mean, a lot of times everybody struggles. So if someone is there to appreciate your contributions, it really does go a long way. And especially it can tackle what we're talking about, like retaining contributors in the long run.
Yeah.
So thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Mary Praise, for your insights here. Okay. Moving on to the second last question, from community manager to
Oh,
community manager, right? So how do you balance the needs of a community and the project?
okay.
Yeah, how
Okay.
do you balance it out? I mean, the community has their own expectations, the project has their own standards. So how do you balance
Mm.
both of it out, from community manager to community manager?
Okay. Is a very very tricky thing. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it's so tricky. It's just like we in the community where we have to keep telling the leadership the importance of community to whatever it is they do. Let's say for
Mm-hmm.
a fintech company, you want to hire a community manager, but then you're so skeptical, you keep asking questions, and I have to always prove myself and
Mm-hmm.
prove the need for community. Like community is everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
community is not like what's the word? It's not an end a means to an end, right? It's not like it's so much more
Mm-hmm.
than that, right? And that's why I said this is really tricky. But I think personally, in as much as the project might have its own goal, right? Aligning it is really, really tricky, like very, very tricky. But again, I feel like somehow there's always going to be like a balance in the middle, somewhere in between. There's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be a balance, and that's like what I feel like community managers now should really really stick on and hold on to, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think Mary Blaze is facing some technical issues. But while we wait for a few seconds until she comes back, you can pop in your questions so far and let us know what are you thinking about the talk. You can pop in questions. Do you have anything for Mary Blaze? What are your thoughts, especially when it comes to community health in open source? Your experiences as well. So she's back. I'm bringing from backstage, and be sure to send in your questions through.
Hi.
Hey, you left me alone.
Oh my, I did not know that must be network. Trust me. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go over that again, right? The question you just asked, is that fine?
Hmm.
Okay, cool. So I was saying
Yes, no problem.
So I was saying that this is a really tricky question, and I was also saying that in as much as the project might have its own goals, right, and the community might have its own goal, I personally feel like there's always going to be like a balance, in between, like in the middle, that
Hmm.
I feel community managers should hold on to and stick to, right? That's that particular spot that holds that balance, right? And because I'm a
Mhm.
community manager, we will always side with community, right? Because again, it's the lifeblood of the
Mhm.
project. Without a
Mhm.
community, the project is more likely to actually fail than strive, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so community is everything really. I think that I feel like project maintainers and owners should probably not see it as something so different from what they should be doing. I mean, it should be part of whatever structure or plans they have for that particular project, right? Because community is everything. If you do not have a nurtured community, your project is
Mhm.
likely to fail, right? And
Mhm.
your project, I mean, that a project is sustainable is actually its community. Quote me anywhere, really.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean, for whatever reasons, some project maintainers and owners would probably just not see the need for community or even community managers. I mean, I recently started a series on my blog on Hashnode, on
Mhm.
why open source project maintainers need like a community manager, right? And you would need a
Mhm.
community to actually bring in a community manager. So really, it's really tricky, but I just feel like it's a necessity. And let it
Mhm.
sink into the minds of project owners. You need a community to strive, for your project to strive and for it to be sustainable, right? You need a community,
Mhm.
and really no much else.
And communities need community managers, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we are important. We are important, right?
Very important.
Actually, you just gave me. We are very important. I mean, actually, you just gave me an idea. I think sometime later this year, I must host community managers stream. So yeah, I think I will
Yeah,
invite you. Yeah, we will collaborate on that. Okay,
absolutely.
so yeah. So back to my final question, right? So how do you measure a success of an open source community that is healthy? How do you measure that?
Mm. Um, I think there are actually a lot of metrics to measure here. Um, but I think one would be the newcomer's experience, really.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they moving from becoming a new member to
Mm-hmm.
making an actual contribution? I said earlier, from exploring the community to contributing in the community, all right,
Mm-hmm.
or to the project, right? So how are they doing that? How often, right, are new contributors contributing to the project? Today contribute today, and you get to see them in the next 3 months, right? That
Mm-hmm.
means you're not probably doing a good job in maybe sharing them up when they do the little things they do, or
Mm-hmm.
they just might be a 1,000,001 reasons, right? Also, I think that's where like surveying comes in, where
Mm-hmm.
community managers get to like survey the open source community to understand, how or what kind of help they might need to strive in that community, right? And again, under newcomers experience would be things like what was their first, second, third, and even fourth contribution? What was it like, right? Was there an
Mm-hmm.
improvement? Because there's a higher chance that the first contribution of a newbie in open source could be not a lot of quality, right? But
Mm-hmm.
how were you able to like help that process to help them improve in their quality in code, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this open source project could do is bringing up the mentorship initiative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you could mentor these people so that the next time they are contributing, they're actually contributing quality codes to your
Mm-hmm.
project, right? So how welcoming is the community for new members? This like something else again that
Mm-hmm.
we could measure, right? Do they come in and they feel left out, right? I think one way to actually um foster inclusivity and this welcoming environment that we're doing in how we're doing it in chaos is having local chapters, right?
Mhm.
I think for me personally, when I first heard of the project, while I was even able to stay, was because I saw a local chapter,
Mhm.
the Africa chapter, right? And I knew I would be able to like meet other people like me, there, right? So yeah, so how welcoming is this community for new members, right? And I think
Mhm.
another thing would also be like, say, the quality of the code, right?
Mhm.
So if newbies come in and their code is not a lot of quality, like I mentioned earlier, so in the next 3 to 5 months, so what's the quality like now? If it's not also impressive, that means you still have lots of work to do, right? But if it is impressive, that's a good success, right? That's a good success metrics for you. You could boldly say that, oh, this person came into the community and this was how they were coding, but as time goes on, through our mentorship program, through this, that, and that, one-on-one consultation, or no, not consultation now, but one-on-one calls, and yeah, they were able to like improve in their
Mhm.
code, right? So, I mean, there's also like a lot of things to measure, like a lot of metrics to measure here. But these are like
Mhm.
just a few. If people want to know more about some of these metrics, you could visit
Mhm.
chaos.community, and we have tons and tons of metrics open source communities can start measuring today to foster more inclusive and diverse community.
All right. Thank you so much, Mary Blaze. I mean, I learned so much from you today. I'm from community management to dealing with a lot. So thank you so much for. I'm really grateful that you honored my invitation. Um, it's time for questions now. If you have any questions for Mary Blaze, you can send them through via
Mm,
YouTube. Yes, you can send them via YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm able to see. Yeah, please send in through your questions. So while we're waiting for the questions. Like you said, mentorships are very important, especially for open source communities. So,
mm.
which means let me give myself, let me give a short promo. You know, when you're watching TV, there are ads, right? So, I'm gonna put in a short ad right now. Okay, so in case that you didn't make it for GSOD or Google Season of is it Google Summer? Oh, Google Summer of Code
Summer.
or
Hmm.
Google Season of Code. If you didn't make it through, we have an Async API mentorship program that is coming up in a few weeks'
Whoa.
time. So be sure to be on the lookout. For that, you can join in on Slack and join the hashtag mentorship channel. We'll be announcing soon when the applications are open.
Mm,
Project proposals are closing in on the 23rd of May. So if you want to participate, gain knowledge, we've been talking about knowledge and fostering growth. So if
mm,
you're someone, you are a contributor, you want to further grow from just being a regular contributor, be sure to join the mentorship program. And we have a diverse projects. We're not only focusing on code only, but we are focusing on technical writing as well and design as well. Most people think that we under open source projects underestimate or
mm.
underrate
That's cool.
design, but we also have design. Yeah, we also have design projects coming up on the mentorship program. So be sure to join in and tune in as well. Um, I don't think we have questions.
That's probably beautiful. The way I see when people don't ask questions is that the speaker did a really great job explaining things. So I think that's a good sign.
I mean, during and one thing we were saying that the stream was gonna last for 30 minutes. Look at the time. I
Wow.
mean, we did a pretty we did a pretty good job today, right? So if there are no questions, kudos to
Yeah.
me and you. I mean, I'm very
Yeah.
glad. Yeah. All right. So
I think
before, since we don't have any questions, sorry.
I have a question for you. Shall I go on?
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a very
Yeah, she
relaxing
can shoot.
question. Don't don't think so much about it. I just
Oh,
wanted,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
very
not getting
relaxing.
nervous.
So I just wanted to like
Mhm.
know
All
like
right, I'm now
what's
relaxed.
your what's your favorite hip hop song? That's it. That's it.
Hip hop. Oh my god, I don't listen to hip hop. Oh, forgive me. And I don't listen to hip hop.
Are you serious now? Who doesn't listen to hip hop? Oh, really?
I'm 100%. I do. I'm here. I'm more of a, what do you call it? I love country music. I love classical music. I'm
Oh,
more of an, how do I say it? I'm not old. I love things that are soft, melodious, and relaxing.
yeah.
I love notes. Yeah, I'm very chill person. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's
that's
interesting to
basically,
know,
you can
really.
say that I'm an oldish. I'm an oldish person in heart, maybe. I mean, yeah, hip hop is not my it's not my favorite. I'm even trying to think of a hip hop song that I might have loved when I was growing up, but hey,
But do you love Queen Bee? Do you
uh,
love Beyonce? Do you love Beyonce?
okay, I did listen to like I said, I really love classical, I love jazz. So anybody who wants to make me
Oh,
happy, you can take me to a jazz concert. But yeah, I do listen like to a lot of urban music.
oh,
Anyway, now we were talking about Beyonce. Let me think about the last song that I really liked. Oh my god, you were gonna make
oh,
people
sorry.
hate me on live stream.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh no,
I
I'm
didn't mean to do
sorry.
that. I didn't mean to do that.
Now people
Trust
will
me.
think I'm weird. Actually, you have exposed me. Like literally, have exposed me.
Oh my god. Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine.
I mean, everybody has their own preferences. So please don't
Mhm.
shoot me.
At all. I'm not judging. For reals, I'm not judging.
I mean, like I said, I'm an old at heart. This is the kind of music. I mean, literally, like most people at my age, like they listen to Beyonce, hip hop,
Mm.
and a lot. But for me, I prefer jazz. I prefer classical.
That's fine.
Even, I mean, I love Mozart. Most of the times, when I'm working, I listen to Mozart a lot. So
That's
that's where
fine.
I am. I mean, it is what it is.
That's fine.
and and you, what is your preference actually?
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, you shot that back at me. That's not fair.
Oh hell no! You asked. You started it.
That's not fair. Okay. I do love classicals.
Hmm.
I love like high life. I love high
Hmm.
life. I don't even
Hmm.
know what that is, but I love high life.
Okay.
I wish Precious was here. She
Hmm.
knows what I mean. Yeah, I love lots of traditional songs. I
Hmm.
love traditional songs, especially my traditional songs. Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. That's good actually. I mean, I don't like loud music. I don't like a
Oh,
lot of noise. So I mean,
that's
maybe
fine.
yeah, it's personality wise. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
like classical music complements my personality because
Oh,
I'm
Did I add? I
okay.
do love rap actually. There was a time I do like I could rap a lot of Eminem,
Hmm.
if you know him. His song like
Hmm.
from start to finish, like oh my god. Now take me back to the old times.
I mean, yeah. I also listened to Eminem growing up. Most when you were kids back
Oh,
then, you have peer pressure and you listen like, hey,
oh,
there's this new song, So yeah, I mean, as you grow
lots
up,
of peer pressure.
you get to be your own person, come out of the
Mm,
shell.
yeah. True, true, true. Absolutely true. That's very true. I think a lot of people do things out of peer pressure, even to
Hmm.
now. Not even when growing up, like even to now. But
Hmm.
it's all cool. It's all cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we grow up and you become your own person and say, oh, I didn't like this. I actually
Absolutely.
prefer this. Yeah.
Just like
Okay.
the way I entered science because of peer pressure. Sorry, I had to
Hmm.
say that. I went into science
I
because of
mean,
peer pressure.
you understand. Then when you later on in life, you'll be like, okay, I really don't like this thing. I actually
Hmm.
need to choose my own path. Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think. it's all part of growing up and learning. I mean, we even like us as human beings, we learn about ourselves almost every day. You decide, oh, I didn't know that I like this. I didn't know that I don't like this. So yeah, it's all about personal preference and yeah, and finding who yourself, who you are, and exploring different things and you know those things. We do have a comment from Okeke Stanley.
Oh, okay.
I said, thanks for sharing your fountain of knowledge. Yes, thank you so much, very blessed, for sharing today. And I don't know, do you have any closing remarks before we end the stream?
Nothing much. I just want to say that Tui, you are an awesome and an amazing host, and thank you so much for inviting me. It was such an honor and a pleasure.
Mhm. I
Then
told you I'm an
lastly,
amazing. I told you I'm an amazing host.
I'm a first-hand witness. I'm a first-hand witness now. Yeah, this
I
was so
told
relaxing.
you.
This was so
I mean,
relaxing.
yeah. But also, thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom and knowledge and your expertise. And I mean, for people who want to know or ask questions, just in case they want to follow up or they want to maybe implement some metrics on communities or on projects, where can they find you?
Oh, I mean, on implementing metrics on communities, please
Mm-hmm,
again go to chaos.com and
mm-hmm,
you see lots of metrics that we have for you there. Then on
mm-hmm,
how to connect with me, it's May Blessing. Yay, precious. Hi. Then
mm-hmm,
to connect with me, it's May Blessing Okoli on LinkedIn. And
mm-hmm.
I think the hashtag you see here is my Twitter username.
Handle. Mm-hmm.
So
All
yeah,
right.
so you can DM me anytime, anytime, really.
Yes. So be sure to DM Mary Place if you have any questions. And as you can see, she's an open and bubbly person and she's willing to help you if you have anything you need. And I'm also here. I mean, I will be chilling here at Async API community. I'm available on Twitter, on Slack. And thank you so much, Mary Place, for coming through. I really
Shout out to Async
appreciate for
API.
yes, thank you so much for honoring and to
Yeah.
everyone. And to everyone, thank you so much for joining and bearing with us. I mean, we had planned that the stream was gonna be 30 minutes, and look at us. We are 1 hour past.
Look
But
at
anyway,
us.
we are yes, we are proud of us. and and enjoy the rest of your day, evening for us. I'm sure it's evening for Mary Bless as well. And
Absolutely.
and we'll see you next time. Bye
Yeah, see
bye.
you next time. Bye bye.